Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecker. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you are joining us from either of those platforms, please feel free to leave a question or a comment down below. Hopefully, I'll be able to address anything as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. So let's get started here with a look at those weather headlines. We are tracking out a few clouds through the rest of the night tonight. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies will be expected through the overnight hours and even into early Saturday morning. Some lingering cloud cover is possible, but we should be clearing out of that through Saturday afternoon. And we're also going to be warming up for the weekend and into next week, getting back up above average. We've been enjoying these very fall-like temperatures the last few days. Yesterday and today were very cool, crisp, kind of sweater weather or sweatshirt weather, especially if you're down at the festival for tonight. Definitely going to need a light jacket at least. But looking ahead to our work week, it looks like we're also going to be staying pretty dry through the next 7 days with not a whole lot of opportunity for any measurable rainfall. But looking at our temperatures today, we actually thought we would get a little bit warmer, maybe into the lower 70s, but we had some of that cloud cover roll through a little bit thicker through the afternoon. We became mostly cloudy at some points, and I think that actually helped keep those temperatures a bit cooler out there. So we only topped out at around 69 degrees in Evansville, but where that cloud cover really didn't make it, Paducah, 72 degrees, 77 in Bowling Green, and it was also pretty chilly farther to our north, 67 there in Indianapolis, but I don't think we have any complaints with that. It is fall now, and we're all pretty excited that it's going to start to feel like it now that it's cooler. But looking at our current temperatures, it's cooled down even more. It's actually just downright chilly in some spots. 52 degrees here in Evansville, only around 50 there in Henderson. Still pretty warm to our north up towards Mount Carmel, sitting at around 62. That may be even an error on one of the actual instruments that is measuring the temperature, but most of us are sitting in the low to mid 50s at this time. And looking at our Doppler radar, we didn't track out any rain today. A lot of that rain was off to our west, and it kind of fizzled out before it actually reached the tri-state, but we did get the remnant cloud cover from it, so that's why we only warmed up into the upper 60s today. But looking at our forecast through the rest of the night tonight, it's going to cool down even more, down into the lower 50s, upper 40s, and we could even see some patchy areas of fog start to develop by early tomorrow morning, but that will burn off pretty quickly once that sun rises. Again, tracking out a few morning clouds through Saturday, but then we should clear out and become mostly sunny by Saturday afternoon. Temperatures should warm back up into the mid to upper 70s. But looking at your weekend forecast here, continuing to remain warm and mostly dry, and looking at the extended outlook, our next 6 to 10 days, it looks like we're still going to be remaining in this drier pattern here, the October 16th through the 20th. We are highlighted in that brown color. So let me show you what the next 7 days look like pretty much through the longer range European model. Starting it out on Sunday, again, nothing really to track out here, maybe a few passing clouds through early Monday morning, and then again, maybe some active weather off to our west and then another active area off to our east, but we're kind of caught in between this tranquil zone. So we may get skirted on by a few higher level clouds, maybe even a stray shower could graze portions of southern Illinois at a few points through next week, but there really is nothing that's going to be solidly making it into the tri-state for the next 7 days because of that high pressure system. So looking at our rainfall forecast here, not a whole lot to see. So unfortunately, while that drought actually got a little bit better, we actually did remove a good bit of that moderate drought from the tri-state. A lot of us are actually just abnormally dry or normal now with all that rain we got earlier this week. That helped us. But if we're going to be dry again here for the next 7 days, that may just either keep it where it's at or maybe make it a little worse by the time we get into next week. So hopefully the drought monitor doesn't move all too much because we have kind of worked it out a little bit more. So hopefully we don't just destroy all that progress. But while we're still going to be dry, we're also going to remain above average. Now again, it's going to be cooler. We were dealing with temperatures in the 80s just last week. So now that we're down into the 70s, it feels great, it feels cool, but it really actually is still warmer than average. We're actually going to be above average here through the rest of this weekend and into next week. We may even top out near 80 degrees again by Monday and Tuesday before we hang out into the mid 70s for the second half of the work week. And outside of the tri-state, we've got the tropics, which are active once again. We've got 4 different storms at this point, 2 in the Pacific, 2 in the Atlantic. And starting off on the Pacific side, we have Priscilla, which has actually just reached its last advisory, so this is actually going to be dying off, but the excess moisture from former Tropical Storm Priscilla is actually moving on up into the desert southwest, and that's introducing a lot of deep moisture in areas that don't normally handle that much. So there is a lot of a flooding risk going on across portions of Nevada, New Mexico, Southern California because of Priscilla. And then we also have Raymond there that's expected to curve up the Mexican coast there. But here in the Atlantic, we have Jerry still. Jerry is kind of just off to the north and east of Puerto Rico, and that's going to, or excuse me, north and west, or yeah, northeast of Puerto Rico. It's moving north-northwest and eventually about to turn into the central Atlantic, never really becoming a hurricane, just remaining a tropical storm. And it looks like that cone of uncertainty even takes it away from Bermuda. So we're not expecting any sort of landfall with Jerry. And this actually, Karen, just popped up earlier today or last night. I can't exactly remember, but it's way up north in the North Atlantic. A lot of times you don't even really see tropical development up there because it's not the tropics, so it's kind of odd that Karen just popped up out there, but it's never really made it out of its depression phase, so it's just going to kind of linger and meander up there and probably just become your typical wind and rainstorm for folks out in the UK. So that is a look at the tropics. So I'm going to take a look at our hazards now for the next 8 to 14 days here. We're not really outlooked for any hazards specifically here in the tri-state. Remember how I talked about there were going to be 2 other active areas of weather, one off to our east and one off to our west. So it looks like the active weather along the east coast may come in the form of some sort of coastal storm, bringing some high winds to portions of New England. And then off to our west, it looks like that persistent shower activity may lead to some heavy rainfall across portions of the central plains and into the northern plains. But again, not really making it into the tri-state, so we are going to stay pretty dry here through the next 7 days. So there's a look at your forecast. I'll take it full screen so you guys can get a better look at it. Into the mid upper 70s through the weekend, and we'll hang out nearly around 80 degrees for Monday and Tuesday before we start to cool things back down into the mid 70s for the end of next week. So that is all I have here for the forecast. Let me go ahead and check out the comments. If you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Looks like we have Hillary in our chat, one of our loyal viewers. I actually saw her down at the Fall Festival. Happy to see you and great meeting you again, Hillary. Thanks for joining us. And Cheyenne says, good evening. Howdy, says Dan. Howdy to you too. And Lenny says he actually can't wait for warmer weather. So you must be like me. You like when it's hot all the time. You're not really a fan of the winter too much. So I can't really blame you. And it looks like Jeanette also says good evening. But that is all we've got here in the comments. So I'm going to hop off the live stream and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night.